Hey, I'm Cheshi, and this is a devlog for the game You Are Here. It's going to be a short one, basically touching up on all the items that I have added since I started the page. Not really a lot of important things have been added, but it's still something I would like to show you. Now, what we have here is the map in the Unity editor. As you can see, there are some basic props set up in all the rooms, and these basically mean that it's no longer a bunch of empty rooms. There's also a couple of changes I've made into how I want the game to start out. That's next on my roadmap. What I did in this couple of weeks was basically do a rough filling in of the rooms with the props. Of course, some of them might still need a little bit more editing to make them look less static and more human. I did the air ducts, which basically is a nice touch, which makes it feel a lot more like an underground facility, as it should be. And I made a little bit of a teaser, which I'm not going to show you just yet, maybe, but I made a little bit of a teaser for what will eventually be another section of the game when it's nearing fuller completion. As I mentioned before, I wanted to have this out before the 1st of June, so I might be able to give a little bit information or a little bit more details about the second part, which will be the laboratory of the game, but essentially the rear part will be along in the future. Now, what I have for the next, I've put a paper with all kinds of milestones on it. Next milestone will be getting the keys for the exit. Currently in the game you need to have keys to open the exit gate. Basically, normally with security doors and everything, you need a key to open or arm the button, and then you can press the button in order to exit. I wanted to have the same system here, so you have to run around, find the key. Now, of course, I want to make the key spawn at different locations, which would give a little bit of distinction between each playthrough. Not that in a while the player actually knows where the key is, to run straight for the key, straight for the other required items, and then just runs out, being a 3-minute run, for instance. So there's going to be several locations where the key can spawn. Also, there will be a couple of phases. What I have now is that you have to turn on the power to be able to unlock the gate, which will still be an element inside the game. However, it will have 2 phases. The first phase being you have to find the generators, and with those generators you can turn on the fuse box, and once you put those 2 on, which can be in either order which you like, when you have those 2 prerequisites, the only thing you have to keep in touch with is to find the key and get out without being murdered. That's basically the next couple of things I want to build. Also, I have maybe an idea that the security office in which you have the key for the opening gate perhaps has a key that you cannot lockpick, because one of the big things of this game is indeed the lockpicking of doors while there's some monstrosity trying to kill you. So I'm going to show you a little bit more of the inside of the game when you're running around. As you can see, it's very dark, and if you have your brightness turned up a little bit, you can see that there's some lines and stuff on the... You can very vaguely see some stuff. Now this is also something that I showed in the pictures, being your natural vision. I know it's not completely... oh look, here's a couple of the vents. It's not completely true to real life. I mean, in order to have a little bit of night vision, you have to have the tiniest amount of light to enter. But, you know, artistic liberty. So we turn on our flashlights, and it's also stating using my flashlight will ruin my night vision, but fortunately it will return in time. And we have these lovely air vents. And let's, for instance, open the archives. This is just a little room inside the map. Oh, we're at the end of the map, in the room. So basically all I've done is created these rooms, which will be the general layout, and then I filled these rooms. It's locked. Perhaps I can pick the lock. Also, when you point at something that's important, the flashlight would automatically target to it, meaning that it gives the player a little bit of an advantage, showing, hey, look, this is something important, this is something that you can interact with or need to look at. So in here, for instance, we have a storage room for office supplies. Probably going to fill these shelves a little bit more, but basically you have your filing cabinet, you have some chairs and desks and stuff like that. These are the things that I basically put in this part of my development. Now, as you might have noticed, there's a brick wall with stairs. I eventually plan on having an upstairs, a downstairs, and a couple of layers into this facility, and in this facility it will be huge. But as I want to release something, and which will most likely be a demo or an alpha version by June, I am pretty sure I cannot make all of this at once. So it will be a demo version which will gradually expand into a bigger map. As I said before, the laboratory is a teaser, and that's one of the first elements that I'm going to work out a little bit more. For the next, there's a bigger roadmap. There's 2 of these papers that I have with dates all leading up to June, I think, May or June. But there's a lot of things that are still in store, and which I hope I will be able to share with you. The next devlog might be a little bit longer, because simply the key spawning is, in my case, not enough to showcase separately, so I might condense some of these milestones together. But that is all that I've got to tell for you right now. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will keep following me, and I hope to have something out for you soon. Perhaps when I have 2 or 3 milestones ready, which I believe would be the end of this month. So this is May, March. The end of March, perhaps I have something downloadable for you guys, but that's something I'm still thinking about on what to do. And another little Easter egg a little feature that I put in. As you can see on the screen, the battery is getting low, and you can slowly see the intensity of the flashlight going down, as well as it swaying a little bit, because your hand is never that steady. Those are minor details I like to put in the game, and I hope I can do a lot more of those tiny little details. Also, I would like to disclose that I have already put in 1 Easter egg inside this game, making the props and putting everything in place. So whenever I get to download it, if you manage to see it, if you manage to find it, please let me know. I'm very curious if you guys managed to get it. But anyway, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll have more madness for you the next time.